Hey guys, welcome to Braddels Gaming and to another episode of my Far Cry 5 custom map series. Today we're having a look at my map called Battle for Belize, and as you've guessed it, the map is set in the Caribbean country of Belize. You've got your lush greenery, your crystal clear blue water, and your pristine white sands, definitely reminiscent of a tropical Caribbean setting. And as you guys can see, I've used a lot of the black flag assets on this map. Ever since Far Cry 5 was released, I've always wanted to do a black flag map. Right from the point that I saw a black flag map in the trailer reveal for the Far Cry 5 map editor, I've always wanted to do one, and I wanted to do one in multiplayer because, solo and co-op has been a staple of Far Cry 4 a long time now, especially with Far Cry 4 only supporting solo co-op maps. So I always wanted to challenge myself in Far Cry 5 and only build multiplayer maps, as that's always been my passion. One thing I will say straight off the bat is that I definitely think I made this map too big. I think that if you're a sniper and you love sniping, then this map is definitely going to be for you. But if you don't like sniping or you're not very good at it, then you're probably not going to have a very fun time. And ironically, even though I'm very proud of how I've made this map in terms of its aesthetic, I think that I could definitely improve the gameplay side of things because, as I said, it only really favors snipers on this map, and ironically it doesn't suit my style of gameplay, which is not using a sniper. So that's a pretty funny thing I thought I'd throw out there. Anyway, without further ado, I'm going to go into the playing perspective so you guys can see what it looks like when you're actually playing the map. Perspective is very important, but before we get into the actual map walkthrough, we're going to be looking at the loadouts which I've made for this map. So first off, we've got Scout Lookout, and as you guys can see, like I do with all my maps, I try and make the classes relevant to the time period that I'm doing, or the map that I'm doing. So if it's a pirate map like I've made on this one, I've got a few pirate terms in there, man the cannons, scout lookout, raid and loot, and mine defender. And then I've tried to tailor these classes to their names. So scout lookout is obviously, reconnaissance, a sniper. So this is your sniping class with the SVD, the SA-50, and the Scorpion if someone is coming up close to you and you need a faster way to take them out in the short engagement. You got man the cannons, which is your firepower class with the LMG and the flamethrower. So obviously these guns have a lot of firepower, just like you would back in the day, firing a cannon. You've got raid and loot, which is a standard close to medium range engagement class. Again, this class probably isn't best suited for this map, but the D50 and the AK-47 can make a pretty good combo if you get it right. And Mine Defender, sort of a throwback to the time period. This is just your average bow and arrow and your paddle, but we're still going to be spawning in with this class just so we make this video a little bit more relevant in terms of its historical accuracy. Because even though I've set this map in the time period of the golden age of piracy, obviously we're all shooting with modern guns, so it doesn't really seem like that. But the setting and the story can be completely different from the gameplay because obviously this is Far Cry 5 and it was intended for a modern setting in the first place. This is just the arcade where us creators can let our imaginations go wild. Anyway, you guys may notice that there's an English flag here, and the whole premise of this map is that it's basically the English versus the Spanish. You can see the Spanish flag over there. They're basically trying to gain control over this set of islands, as it is a major shipping stop for their ships to refuel in terms of, resting their men and maybe storing cargo or whatever before they go on their next voyage. And now I will get into the modifiers of this game, and the first modifier I will show you guys is unlimited underwater breathing. The reason why I've added unlimited underwater breathing is because most of the map is taken up by water, and in a map that has the majority of it in water, I felt that underwater breathing would be really important because it meant that you could stay underwater for longer and you wouldn't have to worry about someone, I guess, shooting at you. You'd be able to go a little bit more stealthily, and you wouldn't have as much pressure. And it also means that you guys can take in the experience of all the detail that I've added underwater. I've added a lot of vegetation, a lot of artifacts, and all sorts of little things that you can explore. So even though this is a multiplayer map, I've really tried to make this part of a larger world. Really tried to activate that player experience and really tried to polish up the map. So you guys can see the detail underwater, but you guys can also see that I've added some surrounding islands to make it feel like it is part of that larger world experience. Because in my opinion, even if this is a multiplayer map and people aren't really going to notice what's outside of the map as much, you still want to add those bits because it adds a lot more polish to the game, well, to the map that you're making, and just makes a lot of people who are playing your map feel a lot better in terms of the overall satisfaction. Now, I was going to talk a lot more about the detailing of the underwater, but I'm hoping you guys will play this map and be able to experience it for yourselves. Here's another look. One thing I wanted to say that is really cool is that you can actually add underwater spawns. So I've added a few shared spawn points around the map where players will spawn in these little underwater temple structures, and that's really good because it means that if one team is absolutely dominating on one of their fortresses, you spawn underwater, you're all sneaky, and you can stealthily flank around on this side little island here once they get out of the water, and you can basically sneak behind them and go around and maybe do a few neck snapping and a few takedowns. Anyway, now we are going to get to the pyramid structure that you see before your eyes. Now, you may be thinking why I decided to add an Egyptian pyramid instead of the Mayan pyramid over there. The Mayan pyramid is really funny in that Ubisoft added an integrated invisible barrier on it, so it means that you can't actually interact with the building itself, which means you can't climb it, and it basically makes traversing the map, traversing around that pyramid very difficult because you'll try to take cover up to that wall and you'll just run into an invisible barrier and it'll be a very unpleasant experience. So unlike this Egyptian pyramid where you can just jump and freely traverse it, that pyramid you can't, so that's why I decided to opt for the Egyptian pyramid. And one thing I will say is that if one team is dominating on either one of their corresponding spawn structures, this pyramid is probably the next best spot to be because you can sort of do this side swipe here where you can peer out and you can do it on both sides. And it provides a lot of really good cover and you get a great overview over the whole map. So this is a really good location to be, this pyramid. It's also a bit out of the way, so it means that if players aren't very good at sniping you off this pyramid, they have to run all the way to you and you can have the advantage of just shooting them off the pyramid when they try to climb it to get to you because you have the high ground. Anyway, now I'm going to quickly try and get over to the middle K over there. A K is a smaller island for those of you who didn't know. It's also pronounced Key. I really have no idea how you guys want to pronounce it, but I'm just going to say K for the sake of saying K. Anyway, this little middle K here is another good point, I suppose, for you guys to defend from. You've got your mounted gun in here. So even if someone is dominating on the pyramid, it's still balanced and everything because you can just come this mounted gun and shoot them down. And, anyone who spawns underwater in this sort of section, once they surface, you have a great view to gun them down and get yourself a nice little kill. Now we come over to the mortar. And I know the mortar isn't overly powerful in Far Cry 5 like it was in Far Cry 4. Obviously Far Cry 4 had the cluster mortar where it would shoot one mortar and then split into 20 mortars. But in Far Cry 5 it's just a singular mortar that explodes It would be cool if you could customize mortars to include cluster ammo in Far Cry 5, but then again, I guess in multiplayer that would probably make the gameplay a bit too overpowered for whoever was on the mortar. And I don't think the mortar on this map is completely useless. And I know I'm reiterating this quite a lot on this preview, but it is a sniping map and players are going to tend to camp in one spot. So you can actually catch off some people off guard. If they're like on this rock here and they're sniping across the map, you can actually fire a mortar. And I've actually gotten a few kills myself just by doing that. Nobody seems to move. I don't know if they're too concentrated on aiming so they don't notice that a mortar is coming right at them. But I managed to get a few kills on this map with the mortar quite easily actually. It's not like where you have to aim like all the way over here when someone's all the way over here, and really make sure you time it so that by the time they get here, you've actually got them. Anyway, we are now going to move on to the spawn areas. And the spawn areas, as I said, on these corresponding structures, they're actually, as you guys may have already noticed, symmetrical. So it doesn't matter which side you spawn on, you're going to get the same balanced advantage or the same sort of experience as the player on the other side of the map. So it means no team has a greater advantage over the other, and it really means that players can utilize the same cover over here as they can over there. Now we're going to get to the coolest part of the map, and this is a Easter egg in regards to Belize. One of the major geographical features of Belize is this giant blue hole, which is basically an underwater sinkhole. And when I was doing my research on Belize, I decided that I would add a blue hole on this map. Now again, I know what you're thinking, this is a multiplayer map, why would I bother to even go underwater and go into that blue hole? And I will show you guys right now. And I might actually speed up the video because swimming underwater can take quite a long time, and I probably made this underwater tunnel probably a bit too big, but it was really the only place that I could put it which was in a good spot, because if I put it anywhere closer it would mess up with the middle K, and if I put it too far away, well obviously you'd have to swim for longer. That's why I made the time limit 13 minutes or 15 minutes, I can't quite remember on this map. That means that it gives you a lot of time to be able to do what I'm doing right now, and also, as I said earlier, the unlimited underwater breathing. Obviously if you didn't have that, I probably would have already died, and I'm sure many others would have as well. But as you guys can see, I think this is a really cool Easter egg, a really cool geographical feature. I always love swimming underwater in Black Flag, and this is kind of like your first person perspective, I suppose. Here you come to a sunken ship on top of an underwater sunken temple. You come through this door here, and if I can swim through the door, you come down to the treasure room, which has some very overpowered weaponry. So you have your RAT-4, your Buzzsaw, your M249 Super. So if you're willing to swim under the water all the way to this location, it may take about a minute, but once you get here, there's a big surprise waiting for you. You can get some very powerful weapons, you can swim back up to the surface, and you now have a bit more of a greater advantage over everyone because of the weapons you just picked up. So it's kind of like a trade-off, I guess. You might waste a couple minutes trying to get to those weapons and get back to the game, but at the same time, it's also a reward that you get for swimming underwater for that long, in terms of, picking up those powerful weapons. And this is another entrance of the blue hole here from the middle K. You look outwards to the two statues that I'm about to turn around to, and that's kind of like another grand entrance to the blue hole, which sort of gradually goes down the sea level. So to wrap it up, this is a slow-paced sniping map. I definitely think I nailed the aesthetic. I'm really proud of how I detailed this map and how I made it look like a real sort of authentic Caribbean experience in regards to location and setting and that sort of thing. Uh, and who knows, maybe in the future I'll turn it into a solo co-op map where it'll probably flow a little bit better. But anyway guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this preview slash walkthrough. After this segment there will be some gameplay to follow, so definitely stick around for that. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please remember to like the video and have yourself a nice day. Okay guys, so you may have thought that you heard the last of me, but one thing I quickly want to disclaim is that this footage is very much an outlier. The original footage that I got showed me not really being able to get into the game. I was failing pretty bad at trying to snipe and I couldn't really use any of the other classes. However, the gameplay that I captured today in a different lobby with different people was actually quite a surprise to me. The gameplay that you're about to see actually shows that all classes can be utilized and all playstyles can be catered for, which was the original goal. So I'm pretty satisfied with this footage. It's obviously going to be a bit of a weird thing watching this footage after I kind of downplayed my map in the preview, but out of all the games that I played, this is definitely a very odd game. So in all the other games that I played, it very much was a snipe fest, where only the sniping class was really the best suited class to play this map on. And so if you were good at sniping, you were going to have a good time, but if you weren't good at sniping, you weren't. However, in the gameplay that you're about to see, apart from this starting bit where I cannot nail a single sniping shot, as you'll see in just a second, the rest of the footage showed me use the AK-47 class, the close to medium range classic style class that you see in a lot of maps, I guess you could say, or in a lot of games. And I basically used that for the whole game and I was able to dominate. I came first, top of the leaderboard, and so yeah, I just wanted to quickly throw that out there so you guys don't get confused by the difference of what I said in the preview compared to how good this footage is. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video. That's all from me, so I will see you guys in the next one.
Gotcha. Gotcha. is imminent. You're close to victory. Victory is imminent. You're almost there.